So if you don't respect your body's need and rhythm, you're still stuck relating to your body as an inconvenience and a weakness, which means you're seeing your business as a means to an end. It's all about fast growth and money, and this can lead to unsustainable practices and not being the best that you can be for yourself or for your clients. If you appreciate how your body has cycles and you see your business as an extension of this with its own rhythm, seasons, and cycles, you're much more likely to value each phase of business for its own merits and take the time to get it right first time from a place of deep trust and knowing, defining your own success and finding the freedom that you desire. So the trick is, of course, balance, to follow a cyclical approach. And I'm not just talking about your menstrual cycle either, but seeing your business tasks, the way your business is actually structured, the jobs that need to be done inside your business, the way you show up for your business, as cyclical too. So I'm curious what your period says about how you do business. Welcome to the Wild Flow podcast with me, Charlotte Puanto, an award-winning menstrual cycle coach and priestess, and the founder of First Moon Circle School. I guide women to honor and embrace their sacred cycles in their life, leadership, and business. Let's say hi to more ease and flow by co-creating with your body, and goodbye to struggle and burnout. This podcast features soul-enriching conversations, inspiring you to love your cycle, lead as a sacred leader, and grow a life and business that serves you by harnessing cyclical life and business practices. Join me and other changemakers, thought leaders, and wise women to embrace and embody your wild flow. Hey, lovely. How are you? Welcome to Wild Flow. I'm on cycle day 15 today and feeling quite energized, clear, enthusiastic, keen to share. That's why I'm recording this podcast. I've had this topic idea on my heart for a while, but just felt the clarity of what I really wanted to share come through. And so it's the perfect time for me in my inner summer to flow with that, to let it come through, let it channel. So I'm speaking to you from an inner summer energy, a connecting energy, the archetype of the connector, is all about calling people in, reaching out and sharing. But I'm also feeling, because it's autumn, it's interesting. I've been feeling like this challenger energy, which is the autumn archetype, but who's just been with me through like constantly for at least the last cycle, probably a bit longer than that, to be honest. A couple of cycles maybe. And I'm curious whether that's because I'm in autumn where I live and it's much more like that dropping in. And, the seasons really do influence us. They can change our energy, our focus. It changes our body. Our body's regulating to the changing season, and the lightness as well. Because it's getting so much darker here. But also, I'm in preparation mode to launch my cyclical business mastermind, and I'm really here to call in the leaders, the change makers, the healers, the coaches, the various practitioners that we have to help them to really lead the sacred leaders in their business and to stop going from knowledge holders, wisdom keepers, here to make a change, but not really stepping into their power, showing up, changing, standing up, calling in, speaking out, doing the work. So, that's definitely this challenger energy coming through as well. So that's where I'm at. How about you? Where are you at today? If you just take a moment, just notice where you're at in your body, in your cycle, what your energy's doing, what the season is, what the day of the week is, because that can influence your archetypal energy as well. We all know that Monday is different to Wednesday, that's different to Friday. So here today, I'm here to talk to you about how your period is a reflection of how you do business. So how you treat your period is how you do business. And here's how, a couple of examples. When you bleed, maybe you don't rest enough and strongly identify as being a busy person. Maybe you experience pain and so judge your period and don't feel like you can commit to anything. You're battening down the hatches, ready to retreat. And you know that you're going to be out of action for a while. Maybe when your period comes, you feel like you lose productivity. You're not your best. You're not your shiny self, and you resent it. You wish you could be in that summer version of you all the time. Maybe you don't get much ideas. Maybe you don't think of yourself as a creative person, but maybe that's simply not true. You've got a fixed idea of what creativity is. You're not listening inwards to your intuition, to your body speaking to you, to the downloads, those ideas that can come to you in your dreams, even. Maybe you're really disconnected from that part of your intuitive self, and you just simply call yourself not creative. Maybe you hate the softness and the fatigue that can come with your period because you see it as inconvenient, because you can't bring your full self 24/7. Maybe you feel like it holds you back and it disconnects you from your power in some way. Maybe you love your period and the time out that it brings, and you wish you could stay in your slow phase forever. You really love being in hermit mode. You really appreciate this chance to come home to yourself, to slow down, to let it all go, let all that responsibility go. And you just want to drop everything and, sink in. But then you find it hard to get going again when your period ends. So these are just some examples of what you might feel during your period. And because all things are interconnected, they are fractals. All of these seasons and cycles, all the parts of ourselves, all of our roles, responsibilities, all sides of life are fractals of the whole, which is the cyclical nature of existence. Because of this interconnection, whichever one of those examples you resonate with will be playing out in how you run your business and how you see yourself as a sacred leader. So if you resist slowing down, if you feel locked out of your power during your period, or you simply don't know how to exist in a rest phase, you're headed for a quick success, but it's not sustainable. You might be an intellectual, you might be disconnected from yourself and your intuition, and you're probably missing creative solutions and opportunities that might be unexpected and a bit left field. Perhaps you're operating from scarcity and fear. It takes courage to slow down, to check in that you are still aligned to your purpose and your values and your goals. It takes courage to check your financial position as well. Maybe that's something that you kind of ignore, or maybe you're just checking it all the time, every single day, and you're operating from that scarcity place of not having enough. It's a requirement to critically assess how well your business and your offers are working. But if you're in this place of refusing to slow down and rest and take a bigger picture view, you might be in the energy of denying your deeper feelings. You might have distrust in yourself or others. And have this feeling that if you stop, that everything's just going to collapse in on you. When actually, in truth, it's more likely to collapse if you don't stop. So conversely, if you're a lover of slowing down and retreating during your period, and if you find it hard to get going again when your period ends, back into creation mode and delivery mode, then you're operating from a different kind of scarcity, the fear of being seen, the fear of rejection. And so you lay so low, but for too long. You can take a much slower pace in your business. But if that's not in check, if it's not in balance, you're more likely to let opportunities pass you by, all opportunities, from seizing the moment, disconnected from your manifesting power, hermit vibes. And this can cause you to feel immense inner turmoil. You might be stressing that you need to get your business going. You don't have enough, you're running out of money, time is of the essence, but at the same time, you're slamming your own brakes on from within. So if you don't respect your body's need and rhythm, you're still stuck relating to your body as an inconvenience and a weakness, which means you're seeing your business as a means to an end. It's all about fast growth and money, and this can lead to unsustainable practices and not being the best that you can be for yourself or for your clients. If you appreciate how your body has cycles and you see your business as an extension of this with its own rhythm, seasons, and cycles, you're much more likely to value each phase of business for its own merits and take the time to get it right first time from a place of deep trust and knowing, defining your own success and finding the freedom that you desire. So the trick is, of course, balance, to follow a cyclical approach. And I'm not just talking about your menstrual cycle either, but seeing your business tasks, the way your business is actually structured, the jobs that need to be done inside your business, the way you show up for your business as cyclical too. So when you understand the deeper attitudes you have about your cycle, you can see it as a reflection of the cycle. You can see it as a reflection of a place to inquire. How are you showing up and running your business? So I'm curious what your period says about how you do business. Let's really dive into what this looks like. There is a sweet spot, as I say. It's finding flow with the cycles and seasons and really trusting that you've got to be in the growing mode for a while before you're going to get into the scaling mode. That you're going to be in a season maybe where you can't work very much if you do have children at the same time, or some other factor that means that you just aren't on all the time. It means trusting that you're in this for the long term and that it's not just a quick fix. So, how do we find balance in your cycle? How do you understand that there are seasons to business? It's been quite curious for me in the years that I've been in business. People have said to me quite often, "Oh, I don't know how you do it all. You're amazing." But myth busting alert, here's the thing: I don't, and I never have done, and I don't aspire to. I actually don't think doing it all is amazing. And I don't think you should be trying to keep up to that standard either. I've only ever worked in this business part time because I literally had no choice. I'm in a season of motherhood. This business was born when I had two kids, aged 1 and 3, and then I had another baby. And now they are all turning 9, 7, and 5 over the next few months. Because of this, I learned early on that it's simply not possible to be and do it all, despite those feminist messages that tell us we can be a mum, a career woman, a wife, have a beautiful home, have holidays, have all the things, and a thriving social life. And so because we're told that we can have those things, we feel like we should want those things and we should have those things. And then we feel like we're not enough and we failed when we can't. So that's why I actually reject that message, because I actually don't think it's true. I think it's an illusion. The world we live in is not set up to support us to do that. And this just is like such a mirror of the message that we can act like we don't have a menstrual cycle. Think of those TV ads, campaigns, selling period products that encourage us to use tampons, wear white jeans, go horse riding, be sociable while we've got our period. Like, just pretend it doesn't exist. And then that other message as well that I've been hearing, and I'm sure you have too, that says anything men can do, we can do bleeding. I love that we're creating a world where that's possible. And I'm so grateful for the work done by the feminist movement to reach a place of equality. Well, we're working towards that. So I really appreciate the fact that it's now safer and more accessible for us to do whatever we want, to be, we're recognized, we've got capabilities and opportunities that are coming to us. But I actually want even more than that. I know, greedy, right? But I actually want to have the choice to not have to beat men at their own game, to not have to do all the things when I'm bleeding. I want to play my own game and run my own race. I want to have periods of rest, literally and metaphorically. I want to have seasons of rest in life too. I want to not have to be on all the time. I want a business that supports me to live a cyclical lifestyle. And that means that my business has to be cyclical too. So instead of hearing and then buying into and further perpetuating scarcity stories like, if you don't show up on Instagram every day and grow a massive following, people will forget you. If you don't keep showing up to sell, your business won't take off or it'll just fall apart. If you don't keep creating new content all the time, people will get bored. And if you're real and authentic, people will think you're too much, not in control of your own life, and they won't take you seriously or work with you. We have to let these go. Let's bust these myths. I don't believe a single one of these lies. In fact, these kind of stories really bring out my inner rebel teenager, that challenger archetype I spoke of before, who goes, fuck you. I refuse to be bullied into playing into capitalist, patriarchal wounding and coercion. No, I'm not going to do it that way because that's actually in deep disservice to me. That just further perpetuates the problem. I'm going to do it on my terms. I'm going to find my own way. And that's what I've been doing over these years. Even if it means slower growth, even if it means feeling like I'm not there yet, even if it means that I, don't feel like I'm where other people think I should be, it's actually going to be more robust and sustainable and impactful because it's real. In this line of work, we're sharing our authentic selves and our medicine, and our gift back to the world is in us reclaiming that. So let's fuck off these stories once and for all because they keep us sick, small, and scared. What's the alternative, you ask? Seeing your body and your business as fractals, reflections of the greater whole, which is the seasons and cycles of the very nature of existence, like I said. Cyclical business is about working with your body's cycles for sure, but it's also about understanding that business works in cycles too. It's about letting go of this idea of consistent everyday hustle. It's about, for me, letting go of routines and schedules that are the same every day. So, like morning routine, wake up at this time, I do this, then I do that, then I do this, and it's the same every day. It's not being in constant sales mode, launch mode, delivery mode, or even coaching every day or creating every day. Some people do really thrive and love working on schedules like that, where they're like at 10 a.m., I check in with my clients, and at 11 a.m., I create some social media content. And then at 1 p.m., it's lunch, for example. I don't really work like that. I think it's my energy and my brain. So, as much as that does work for some people, it definitely doesn't work for everybody. For anyone who's got a menstrual cycle, definitely for anyone who has kids, for anyone with a chronic health condition, someone who's more introverted or sensitive, anyone who works with the body or energy, and definitely anyone with a neurodivergent brain, the same thing every single day at the same time is, and at the same energy level, is a surefire hop, skip, and a jump to burnout. It can be boring, unstimulating, and too rigid, and simply just not working with our energy and brains with where they're at, according to where we're at in our cycle. I know I need some structure to keep me focused so I don't get lost in my own brain. I don't wander off on tangents. I don't literally like skip between tasks because I'm just going where my brain is at the minute. I know that's not going to help me run a business, but I also need some fluidity in working with where I'm at that day, that week, even. So, what is this balance? What's the sacred third in the middle of these two polarities? I love seeing my schedule more mapped out around my menstrual cycle. So, when I plan my year out, for example, then I'm looking at which programs or mini courses I'm launching when, making sure they don't overlap, that they flow really nicely in a sequence where one leads to the other, where we've got things like upsells and downsells factored in, where they complement each other, basically. I'm also looking at when projects are in delivery mode. So, which projects are in delivery and what's in launch. And so I can factor in how I'm going to need to show up at different times in different ways and how we can do that in a way that complements. I also map out at the start of the year, at least as soon as I can, hopefully a year in advance. I like to block out the school holidays on my calendar because I pretty much don't work during those times. So I will not see clients and I will not have days to sit down to work where I've got like a full day. I might be able to at times do more discrete short tasks around the family here and there. So I might be able to do a newsletter, or I might be able to do a social media post. But I'm going to find it really hard to launch anything or even deliver a program at that time. So it's really about mapping out in advance if I Like, where can I possibly schedule around the season of life that I'm in? Um, where can my husband be flexible to help me? Because this is something I really want to add in as well about when it looks like how am I doing all this? I also really want to say my husband he has his own business, which is challenging. So, two businesses in one house with three children. Yes. But also, we've both chosen to do this because it allows us both to be more flexible with our time. So we both have help. I have a VA and he's got a bunch of staff. We both have online businesses. So, and in his business has seasons and cycles in it as well. So he's a bookkeeper. So he follows the financial cycles. So he can help me out. He's not going off to employment where he literally is not around, because if he was, then that's something else I need to factor in. Doesn't mean it's impossible to do this. It just means accepting where you're at. But because he's around, we can flex and be like, okay, can you cover me for an hour here? Can you cover me for an hour there? He's covering me right now. He's taking the kids swimming and I'm doing this. So, that's the thing as well. Like, what's your family structure like? Not just your kids, but what's the bigger picture of all of that? And then I obviously like to think about what my menstrual cycle is doing. And menstrual cycles can change, and mine has definitely not been consistently 28 days this year, actually. So I look at where the new moon is because I usually do bleed around that. It might be a few days before, it might be on the day of. It's usually not after. It's just I've been sort of start bleeding anywhere within the maybe like 5 days before the new moon. So if I know where the new moons are, I can go, okay, that's a time for slowness, inwardness, not delivering, like taking some time out. I'm going to talk to you more about how you can do that as well. But those new moons for me are like a milestone every single month to look at, where I'm like, okay, I need to be thinking about these moons because that is like my period time. And that is when I don't want to be showing the hell up all the time at a high summer energy like I am now. Hey, have you discovered your sacred cyclical leadership style yet? Take my juicy free archetype quiz to discover your primary style as she shows up in you and in the way you create, lead, and share your big magic in the world. By taking the quiz, you receive an in-depth juicy playbook featuring a full breakdown of how the archetype lives in you and tips, tools, and strategies to expand your archetypal gifts, nourish your vulnerabilities, and come to balance so you can lead, grow, and serve at your highest potential. Understand how your archetype is linked to your menstrual cycle and the seasons of life and business, and ultimately have so much fun taking this magic mirror quiz. Go to charlottepuanto.com/quiz. And in case you're wondering, mine is the mystic. How about you? I'd love to know which result you get. Around my period, I do like to take a day out of the business altogether. And I also really like to take a couple of extra days out for not seeing clients at all. So a day out of the business altogether means I'm not thinking about it. I'm not doing anything behind the scenes. I'm literally having a rest day or two. But so I do factor all of these things in when I schedule my work. And this gives me a very defined structure in itself. And within that structure, which is like the masculine energy, I can flow, which is the feminine. So when I look at my menstrual cycle each month, this is what I'm really thinking of when I'm looking at those new moons in my period. I like to take the time when I've got my period as much as possible to not see clients, to be offline and to stop that mental load of constant thinking about the business. But I might be more in a like checking in with myself. How am I going inwards, like taking stock, filling my cup? I like to vision at this time. When you truly, truly slow down, when you don't force it and you're not trying to control it, you can get these most incredible hits of intuitive wisdom that seem to come from nowhere. Those real like dreams that speak to you that are, it's like what you get a bit lost over the course of your menstrual cycle when you don't check in as much. So your period is like that moment where you've been driving and then you're like, hang on, where are we at again? You stop and you look down at the map. So where are you at? Are you in alignment? Are you on track? Are you like calling in innovations? Do you want to do things differently? What's going to be new this cycle? So I love to have like a whole day in bed if I can get away with it, or like I'll work from bed, or I'll journal, I'll nap. I'll just be inwards. I just take the pressure off. It's like, no, 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 no. It's not going to fall over. It's not going to collapse inwards. So by giving myself this chance, I'm like checking myself, reorienting myself to my goals, my purpose, my higher vision. Are you on track? Where are you at? What needs to change this cycle? What's the focus? We can have all these ideas and visions. We cannot do everything all at once. Again, I use my period as this time to check of all the projects I would love to manifest. Which one am I going to take into this cycle? What's the priority? What's the focus? What am I pouring my energy into? I cannot do it all. So let's be discerning. I've got a whole lesson on this. It's called the creative cauldron process. And it's about leadership, project management, creativity, business for your cycle. And this is what I'm teaching to my clients. This is just the real headline version of it. So in spring, when we finish bleeding, when our energy starts to rise again, it's that time for growth, action, planning. It's real get shit done vibes. But here's the thing. I know it doesn't last forever. So I know I can let myself go a bit harder at this time. If I'm self aware, if I've got boundaries and parameters of like being able to stop myself and put my own brakes on, when I need to, I can take those breaks off and just let myself get carried away with the passion, with the work, with the ideas, and really just let myself manifest, create, innovate, play. I can definitely burn the candle at both ends. This is when I'm likely to be like, oh, I could, just hyperfixate and like find it really hard to pull myself out of whatever I'm doing. So I have to know this about myself. And I have to appreciate that this is just a phase, a season that won't last forever. Come summer, I've still got high energy, but it's different. It's like that, like, like fire, that sort of drive, that like urgency just fades away. And I come into more of a connecting time. It's more about nurture, it's community, it's communication, it's sharing, it's like being with people. So my energy softens. It's still high, but it softens. This is a great time to be in delivery mode. So it's sharing. And I've also got energy for work and family. My desire to crank it all out has already dropped. So, for me, that real hard phase lasts like, a week, but it's a really powerful one. It's just important not to let that fire burn out or burn too bright. Then when I drop out of my summer phase into my autumn phase, my energy drops. I know about myself. I can get some self-doubt in here. It's scarcity. Just shows up for me. It's like, okay, like you're running out of time and energy. What if this doesn't work? What if you're wasting your time? What if no one actually cares or is interested in this anyway? You're a bit of a fraud. You're going to run out of money. It's just like I go, yeah, 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 yeah. I've heard all this before. I just know. Now I just know. And I don't sweat it. I just know it. I know what it is. So I can work around this. So this is the time for being discerning, for looking at if there's any truth in any of that. And usually there's not. It's just me needing to set some time aside, or more time aside, I should say, for my energy work and my mindset work. This is when I start journaling again heavily. Like I tend not to journal much in spring and summer. I tend to like not need as many practices to check my energy because it just like bursts forth from within and it's abundant, like a high energy. But come autumn, it's like, oh, no, we need to do those checks. We need to really work with the mindset stuff, the fears, the embodiment, like raising my energy, like cleansing, releasing, clearing out all of that shit because it can just get me so stuck. And then it's like I just stop. If I let that stop me, I'm out of action for 2 weeks, right? Going into my like 12-day luteal phase plus my period time. Like that's at least 2 weeks. So, no, this is when we need, especially to be doing that leadership work. So we can show up, we can feel like we can tap into something deeper and bigger and beyond us. This is when the archetypal work can really, really help, as well as releasing those beliefs and that energy that is trapped in our bodies. We need to liberate that shit, get it out of us. We can also, once we kind of are in a solid place, really turn that critical eye. And when I say critical, I don't mean harsh. I just mean like discerning. It's like, okay, yeah, I can handle this feedback. I can invite feedback, I can receive feedback, and I can be a grown ass woman, be the CEO and go, okay, how's this really going? I can look at my finances, see what the truth is, see where we're going, realign. Am I on track? Do I need to be calling in additional clients or selling anything particularly and making those invitations? Do I need to be thinking about next cycle doing that? That's more ideal. So it's not so in the moment. Like just having that look, checking in with the plan, that year plan. Where are you at? What are the deliverables that are coming through? How are things tracking? Checking my alignment again back to my energy, but my purpose. Checking in with my clients, preparing to bed down, so tying up loose ends, but really looking at those lessons, what's worked, what hasn't, because I'm not going to do anything about it now while I'm in this phase. I'm just going to carry it through to the next cycle. And then I get back to my winter again. And once again, it's cocoon time, visioning, resting, slowing, hermit mode, fueling the tank back up. If we don't take the cyclical approach, we can lose passion for our work. We can drain energy. We can lose capacity if we're just constantly taking and depleting from the tank. Your period is when you check in and top it all up. I haven't mentioned clients yet, and this is a personal one for me, a personal preference. Some people are very fixed on with ideas on when they want to see clients in their cycle. Some people see clients 2 weeks out of every week. It might be the first 2 weeks or the second 2 weeks, or it might be 1 week on, 1 week off. Some people take months out of the year where they don't see clients and they do other things. I actually have tried it every single way. I see clients in any season of my cycle. I've actually found that I really enjoy coaching in all phases. I just show up as a coach differently. This is also a bit like how I will launch something or how I will communicate on social media or write my newsletters. I actually embrace all parts of me. I've welcomed all parts of me home. I appreciate each part of me, each cycle phase, each archetype for its merits and its gifts. I trust myself to be able to do what I need to do in a way that I'm not going to burn out or collapse. I'm not going to like shrink away in fear of rejection. I'm not going to be too wild and unruly. I just let myself really go with those energies and bring those parts of me through. So, for example, this means that it means I can show up in all phases because I'm not hiding or pretending that I'm anything else but who I am and where I'm at. And so, what I'll do when I'm coaching, for example, during my bleed, I actually prefer not to for the first couple of days of that bleed where I'm like heavily bleeding. I can be so tired and like find it quite hard to pay attention to my client. Um, and in the last couple of days before my bleed, I just feel like I'm being really sucked inwards into like a vortex, into another world. So ideally, I don't want to be coaching on those days. But because my cycle, it's life, it changes. I have actually had to coach from these places and it has been fine because I've expressed where I'm at. And I've also allowed myself to just be in the archetype of that part of my cycle and work with it and own it. So here's some tips on how you can show up across each phase of your cycle too. So when you're bleeding, you can be quite intuitive. I let my senses really guide me. I listen, I speak intuitively, and I sense much more deeply. When I'm in spring, I'm playful, cheekier, more likely to infuse my clients with a higher energy and enthusiasm too. Really bring out that kind of the joy, the excitement, to light the fire for what we're doing, what the client's doing. In summer, I'm all nurture, warm, mothering, compassionate, and I can gently hold you in your emotions tenderly. Autumn, I'm more likely to bring fire and cut through some of the bullshit that I can smell. And I can guide you deeper into your fears and scarcity to work on what's holding you back. I might challenge you more. I might have more accountability on offer for you as well. So I just own that. Like, what's wrong with being in those energies? They're all amazing. And it means that the clients get to experience you owning your all of your gifts. They get a better experience rather than if you just constantly show up in one or two of those energies. So you can see there are seasons for selling and launching in your business, seasons for delivering, seasons for creating, seasons for showing up, seasons for pausing, reflecting, evaluating, and for resting. If you've ever worked in project management, you'll know that projects have phases and timelines where you move through each stage. And cyclical business, it takes on this. It's like this. We're applying it though to how you run your business. I even do my finances in seasons. I use the profit first method, and I love helping clients to understand that too, so that they can establish profit from the start and really step into that mindset of I'm taking my business seriously. I'm the CEO of my business, and this is going to be long term sustainable. And that is all about not doing your finances every single day. It's about doing it in a seasonal way too. So, when I talk about business consistency, I'm sure that you understand by now that I mean, yes, you can show up anytime, but we can let that be fluid and adaptable and only if you want to. And how you do it is the trick. So, timelines have to work for you, otherwise, you're setting yourself up to fail. Give yourself permission to say F you to the dominant stories about how business should be and the timelines and the pressures and the expectations that we think we should be meeting. And instead, look at how you want to feel in your business. Ask yourself where you're being too harsh and rigid and blocking your flow. Where are you allowing yourself too much slack, on the other hand, because actually you're scared of showing up? Maybe if you're feeling scared of being seen or judged or rejected or failing, where do you need more structure to hold you? What kind of energetic work, mindset work, embodiment work? Because I always think with mindset work, that's great, but it's not always going deep enough. It's the embodiment and energetic work that really helps too, that you need to do to hold you. So when do you need to factor in like you and managing you? Like, do you need to do it daily? People love daily rhythms, but actually, if you do the same thing every day, I don't think that's as effective as changing your energy, mindset, whatever practice, based on where you're at in your cycle and where your business is at in its cycle too. It's all about balance. It's all about the cycle. It's all about flow, and it's all about embracing all parts. It has to feel good and make good business sense. Taking this point of view that business is cyclical just as you are can mean letting go of what you think success looks like. It might mean it happens slower. It might mean accepting you're in a season, for example, motherhood, where actually, as much as you love your business, you also really want to be a mum. And you just have to be okay with saying no to schedules where other people are bringing to you timelines that don't suit. Maybe it's saying no to opportunities that don't align with that. Maybe it means explaining to people who don't operate this way that, hey, actually, you work with your cycle. And although, yes, you could get it done now, you're going to bleed on it and decide if it's aligned then. It might mean letting go of attitudes that you're only worthy if you're busy. It might mean changing your practices so you have a shorter school working hours day and you're off in the holidays. But when you show up, you're so much more effective for it. When we tap into and work with our cycles and our bodies, we're creating sustainable growth. We are overflowing. We are flowing in all worlds of life. And this is what I'm just so passionate about, bringing this coaching support and resources to help you consolidate your business strategy so that it can be working on a cyclical approach in your business, but also working with your body, with your energy, mindset, and embodiment, and doing that leadership work so you can show up as a sacred leader, release what's holding you back, and just stand up for what you bloody well believe in. Be that medicine woman that you're here to be. If you love this way of working, if you want to be much more in touch with a cyclical, anti-capitalist, spiritual, seasonal way of living and working, I'm here to guide you to grow and flow. And my cyclical business mastermind that I've been creating because I freaking well needed this over the last few years in business. It doesn't exist, so I've created it because I know how powerful this is. I help all of my clients with this. And what better way to do it in a mastermind? Applications are opening up next week. It's an intimate sacred circle of soulful women who are going to be gathering for 6 months. with, because there's no end date, it's like I'm going to work on a rolling format with the option to continue together. Women who share these values, who are committed to growing and leading, women who want to do business in a cycle honoring way and live in a cycle honoring way. It's an activation container, but also a place of deep remembrance. If you want to be held in a circle where everybody gets it, everybody gets the vibe, everybody is there in the healthy, mature, feminine energy of cheering, celebrating, sharing, collaborating, listening, holding you to step more into your power, being real and authentic, and owning our vulnerabilities and our shadows and talking about what's holding us back. Because I guarantee you, you and everybody else doing this are experiencing the same stuff. When we do it together, we can really expand each other, nurture each other, remind each other of why we're doing this and how we want to do it. So that when we get into those moments of scarcity, we can come back to trust. I'm here to help you implement a strategy that is more cyclical, that helps your business to expand, helps you to serve more clients, helps you to receive what you need to sustain it, what you desire, what you're worth and more, so that you can keep doing this. I'm here to help you be the leader you need to be. I'm here to help you with the energy and the mindset work as well. So the mastermind is centered around these three pillars. It's cyclical business strategy, so you can serve without always needing to be on. It's cycle work, looking at your menstrual cycle, your menstrual shadows and your gifts, working with the cycle archetypes to help you to flourish and flow across all seasons of your menstrual cycle without needing to be in hustle mode. And it's the leadership, energetics, embodiment, and mindset work to help you really be in your power. If this is something that you're interested in, as I say, applications are opening next week. If you click into the show notes, you can find the link to join the waitlist. The waitlist is where it's at. That's where applications are going to be sent to. It's first in, best dressed, and you're also going to get a founding member price. You want to be part of this now because it's time. It is time. It's time to get unstuck, to get into flow. The world needs you. It's time to make this investment in yourself. It's time to stop throwing spaghetti at the walls and seeing what sticks. It's time to be held in a container of people who get it, because who you surround yourself with affects you so much. And also, as a founding member, you're going to have the opportunity to retain your membership in this mastermind at the end of the 6 months, because people will only be able to join when a place becomes available. You might only want to be part of it for 6 months, but you might actually find that this is your home place, your business soul sister squad. This could be the real activator for you that really helps you to be in your power and in your magic without you needing to take time out to integrate, without you needing to take time out to just settle your nervous system, because we are honoring that as part of this mastermind. So jump on the waitlist if you want to hear about it, if you want to get the first invitation. I've got more details about it inside the show notes as well. You can go check it out. You can go read about what's involved, how it works, get the full 411. So I hope this is helpful for you to consider cyclical business as not just how to cycle sync with your period, but also how to really lead and grow a business that's operating from a place of like a cyclical foundation, a seasonal map as well. I'd love to hear if you've got any questions. If you're like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense, but I'm not sure. Or you're like, yes, this is what I do and I want to share about it, then come DM me on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know that you've listened. Let me know what landed for you. Let me know of anything that you want to work through and talk through with me. I'm always so happy to hear from you. Otherwise, have a beautiful day, a beautiful week. And until next time, all the hugs, all the love to you. Thanks so much for listening to Wild Flow. I love having you here and hope you loved this episode. If you did, please show your love by leaving a rating and review and share your fave episodes with your cycle and biz sisters and those who haven't yet discovered the power of their body and cycle. This is how we collectively create change and heal the sisterhood. It makes such a difference. Thank you for sharing. Haven't discovered your cyclical leadership style yet? Take my free Much Love quiz now to receive your free in-depth playbook on how to up your sacred leadership, grow your business, and thrive by embodying your cyclical archetype. Go to charlottepointo.com/quiz now. Until next time, be devoted to your body as guide and your cycle as oracle.